To Alex, love Craig. Well, that's kind of weird, but let's take it inside and see what's in there. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have something really exciting to show you guys today. This is a real live firing version of the Covenant Carbine from the Halo video game series. A few months ago I jokingly said that we'd probably have a live firing real version of this before Halo Infinite came out. And with the game actually delayed, sure enough, here we go. We have the live firing version is complete, and we've tested it and everything, and it's good to go. So the Halo series, just in general, is really my favorite video game series and really sci-fi series, just overall. I built the, if you've seen the other videos, I have the Halo MA5 assault rifle I did last year, and that video was really well received. I had a lot of requests to do some other guns from Halo, and really my favorite gun coming out of Halo was always the Covenant Carbine. Just the overall look, you know, looking at this, that this is an alien gun. This is something kind of crazy and out there. So I knew it'd be a big challenge to do this, but decided on this, and here we go, it's finished. About Halo Infinite, going off of that, something that has always really been criticized about Halo, and especially in the trailer, is that a lot of the weapons and textures and video, just different elements of the game, like vehicles, weapons, they always look a little cartoony just because they're so pristine and clean. With this, I really wanted to create something that looked like it was a real battlefield pickup weapon. So I wanted something that looked like it had been through some really extreme environments and had really seen some combat. I wanted you to pick this up and look at it, not think it's something out of a cartoon or like a cosplay prop. I wanted you to look at this and really question whether this has really been used in battle. The whole identity of the Covenant, who created this, is that their civilization, they're really nomadic. They move through the whole universe, and they're constantly fighting, and they're doing battle in extreme environments. So I wanted this to reflect that. I wanted something that looked like it's done battle in one planet, in one atmosphere, and on another with a different ship with that atmosphere. With Infinite coming out, I was kind of inspired by the Banished, who are the main antagonists in Infinite, supposedly, where they capture Covenant technology and kind of retrofit it to be more industrial, almost like steampunk looking. The reason this video took so long to put out is because I've had to rebuild this several times, and it's been a really monumental undertaking. So if you do follow the Facebook page, you saw probably 8 months ago, I was working on one before, just hauling out a cavity for the battery pack or something like that with my drill press. And one of the pulleys broke in there and ended up blowing out the whole front of the drill press. It got caught on the gun and just chewed it up and totally destroyed it. So I had to start over from zero, and I ended up redesigning a lot of the 3D printed components and the firing mechanism as well. So before, I was using kind of a pre-existing gun and just trying to modify an existing print file for this, and I ended up redoing it. So the firing mechanism is very, very custom, gunsmithing wise. I built that from scratch almost. As far as the 3D printed components on this, I had to really move away from a lot of that, just because 3D printed materials inherently, they melt really easy. So the first time the drill press destroyed it. The second time I was working on it, my Dremel tool or little belt sander, the heat being given off by the motor actually ended up warping and destroying the second version. The third version, it got hot. I was actually putting primer on it, letting it dry outside in the Arizona summer, and it was hot enough that it warped and destroyed it again. So gradually over the past year, I ended up just building it out of metal and high strength metal epoxy instead of the 3D printed parts. This final version here, it is very durable. Again, we test fired it, it held up to the heat and everything. But it's no longer just a 3D printed body. It's there are a few components that are 3D printed, but most of this is real metal. It's mostly steel, mostly aluminum. There's a lot of the 15,000 psi metal epoxy on this for a lot of the rounded surfaces. And the only real 3D printed components left are some stuff that's far away from heat sources. So this is a very sturdy gun, and you pick it up, you know that's a real weapon, again, because it's primarily it's steel and aluminum. So this is a very tough weapon. Through trial and error, that's really what it had to be. I mentioned earlier it's not a cosplay prop. Don't get me wrong, I actually learned a lot from watching YouTube videos of cosplay and prop makers as far as painting and texturing. For cosplayers, they're trying to make foam look like metal usually. The challenge with this one is I have metal. This is a lot of metal. So I have to make things look like metal while being right next to real metal. This is a real firearm. This is a real machine. And you're literally containing explosions right next to your face. It's welded and bolted. It has to really hold up to all that heat and the vibration and all the pressures and really the extremes that firearms are exposed to. A big inspiration on the design and overall appearance of this was actually a memo I ended up finding online from 343 Industries. When they were working on one of the Halo games, they were designing the Covenant Carbine in the game. But conveniently for me, they had a bunch of design notes on that memo, stuff that I didn't even know necessarily. In the memo, they detailed that the outside shell should be very sleek and very clean and streamlined, versus the inside supposed to be more busy and more mechanical in nature. So I really tried to get that look going on, and I really want to emphasize that the outside, the purple shell, and the inside metallic parts are supposed to be two different materials that react differently to the environment. As far as the color, I had a poll on my Facebook page because this is technically a Type 57 carbine from one of the later games. And I think it was blue when it initially came out, but I did a poll on my Facebook page and no one liked blue. They all wanted the classic purple. So it is kind of a combination. It's the later Type 57 instead of the original Type 51. So even though it technically should be blue, I went with a blue iridescent base coat, and then I went with the purple outer coat. And on the design memo from 343, they had a little picture of a beetle, and they said they wanted the finish on the purple to look like an iridescent beetle, so kind of that metallic, shiny look that kind of changes in different lights. And this one does it under natural light, and then just kind of mixed in what I wanted as far as it being a military surplus, like battle rifle. So overall, just kind of in conclusion, I just hope you guys kind of understand now just what went into this and kind of what I was thinking when I built it and why it took so long to get the video out. It was really an undertaking. There's a lot of trial and error. I learned a lot building this, especially about 3D printed materials with real firearms and dealing with the heat and vibration, stuff like that. Going to keep building, and I have a lot of really cool things in store for the future. A lot of new materials too, not just that'll be revolutionary just for stuff like this, but really for the whole firearms industry. As you've probably noticed, or hopefully noticed by now, my earlier videos were mostly filmed in a single take on a Samsung Galaxy S5 cell phone. Versus this is being professionally done. Right now, the channel's funded by my bank account. I don't have any sponsors or anything, so that might be why some stuff's a little slower. I had to pay for everything myself. Just this alone, I've probably got $3,000 in materials into this and at least 100 hours of labor. So there's a lot that goes into these. If you'd like to help, I did just start a Patreon. So if you'd like to be a Patreon, kind of support the channel there, that'll just go in directly to doing stuff like this. So that'd be much appreciated. My link for the Patreon I'm setting up is going to be in the description. Also, if you do want to kind of follow what's going on, see some behind the scenes stuff, you can follow me on Facebook too. That link is also in the description. So before we go, I want to thank a few people. Again, I do fund this myself, so I'm not getting anything for free, but there was a lot of help provided just in finding things that really contributed to this. I want to thank Sean at Ms. Raya Designs on Etsy. So he's the one initially who had the print file to print the Covenant Carbine. So I worked with him a couple times, just getting the first one and then the second one redesigned. So thanks to him, you can check out his Etsy store. The military crate that you saw, that's A to Z cases in Glendale, Arizona. They've got a lot of cool stuff. I know in the future I'll be buying like rocket launcher cases and stuff like that. So again, if you're local to Phoenix, you can check them out. Cowtown Shooting Range outside of Phoenix, that's where we filmed the shooting section of this. It's cool to be able to go to the range and shoot stuff. In the future, I'm going to do some more videos of this. There are really dry fire conditions in Arizona right now. Initially, I want to shoot this with green tracers, but I couldn't do it. That was part of the reason I chambered this in 9mm, because I have a lot of green tracers. So I'm going to go up north in the snow, hopefully, and shoot that. But for now, just shooting at ranges around the Phoenix area. So I want to thank Eli, the video producer for this video. The link to his stuff is going to be in the description as well if you want to see what he's doing. or reach out to him as well. That's down there. If you want to stay up to date and see the new stuff that's going to be coming out, please subscribe to my channel. We have well over 20 million channel views right now, but only about 30,000 subscribers. 99.9% of people that watch these videos aren't actually subscribed. So if you guys could subscribe, you'll get updates on there. I'm not going to spam you with like 5 videos a day. I'll just do, I'll build something like this. They'll come out every few weeks or every few months, depending on what it is. And just as the channel grows, any money from anything is just going to be funneled right back into this stuff. So hopefully you'll be entertained, and then just everything can keep growing and getting cooler and cooler. So again, I just want to say thanks to all of you. I hope you enjoy the content. I'm going to keep building stuff every time, just again, try and make it better and better. I've got other stuff in the works that's going to be really cool. Some really industry changing things, hopefully. Thanks again for watching, and just keep an eye on the channel for the new videos. I'll try and get them out quicker and quicker and better things every time.